Here are my picks for the most fun teams to play with in each power conference in the new EA College Football 25 video game. Most fun does not mean the best teams before you lose it. We're going to start in the SEC. I actually have two for this. Ole Miss and Missouri. Now, Ole Miss, you just have an arsenal returning and an arsenal coming in. Their transfer portal class ranked number 1. You could basically field a whole football team with that transfer class. You have so many key figures returning in the secondary that had the most interceptions for Ole Miss since 2015. You got Jackson Dart, who will be like a mini Manziel probably in this game. Dude is so underrated. You got Ulysses Bentley at running back, who was kind of overshadowed by Quinshon Judkins, but Ulysses can put the work in. Logan Diggs, Henry Parrish. Running backs can drop like flies in the video game if you sim sometimes, so you got plenty of depth from the transfer portal. Wide receivers with Trey Harris, Jordan Watkins, I mean, just weapons. And you got Antoine Wells Jr., the guy from South Carolina who transferred. You talk about Walter Nolan on the defense, Princely, however you say his last name, just loaded. This team is going to be so fun. A solid rock defense with just an endless amount of possibilities on offense. Missouri, what more do I have to say? Brady Cook, Luther Bird, and Theo Weiss. Just score as many points as you can. The defense may not be super great for Missouri in the game. They do replace a lot, but they do have a good 5-star defensive lineman coming in. Maybe he'll be great in the game. Look, I mean, I love the bumblebee look they had last year. Cody Schrader with that yellow tape, just immaculate. I mean, you can have so much fun with this team. Score games in the 50s, just absolutely building with this team. And look, the numbers you're going to put up with Brady Cook, Luther Bird, and Theo Weiss, just start recruiting wide receivers from California, from Florida, everything. You're going to have the crazy production since it's a video game. You're going to just be able to bring in 5-star quarterbacks and 5-star receivers and just throw that bitch everywhere. ACC, I got to go with the new addition, SMU, simply because it's SMU. Look, if we're going to have NIL and portal stuff in this game, money flows like water in Dallas for SMU, okay? Sick uniforms, small, nice, cool-looking stadium. You can build SMU back into the powerhouse it was, and they're coming off their first conference title since 1984. Ascend that program. Make Rhett Lashley a god. All right, Big 12, I got two for this as well. I'm sorry. Oklahoma State, Kansas. Easy. Oklahoma State, all I have to say, Ollie Gordon. And also, traditional modern classic uniforms look fantastic. You have an incredible environment at Boone Pickens. Really, one of the most underrated programs in the country. I just think it always gets fun to spotlight Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State fans love Oklahoma State football a lot more than I think a lot of people think. And I just think the orange and black is awesome. You got to ride with them. For Kansas, all I have to say is awesome new uniforms. Jalen Daniels, if the dude can stay healthy, easily will be one of the best players in college football. I'm sure in the video game, he's going to be one of the most pain-in-the-ass quarterbacks to play against. But he's going to be hella fun. I'm talking about possibly like an EA College Football Michael Vick. Maybe not to that level. Then you have Arnold, Grimm, and Skinner, 3 wide receivers, all returning for Kansas. They were the top 3 receivers for Kansas all last year. One of the best wide receiver rooms in the country when you actually look at the numbers. So Kansas' offense is going to fly around like a Jayhawk. If that flies, I don't even know. I don't even think it's a real bird. But still, Kansas is going to be electric to play with. Look, I know I haven't talked a lot of defense in this video, but mainly I did with Ole Miss because they're the most balanced team of all these teams. But Big 10, I'm sorry, I got to do it, Nebraska. You get Memorial Stadium, one of the most beautiful stadiums in the country, the best fan base, and then it's Nebraska. You get to help bring it back with Dylan Raiola, who may not be super highly rated in his first season, but you get to go through his career, and Nebraska has a pretty good defense, actually. They're pretty underrated. They were 13th in scoring defense and 11th in total defense last year. So Nebraska could be great, and also great classic uniform. I'll throw in a surprise here, group of 5. This one may not be a surprise, but Boise State. This roster is looking like the Boise State of old, especially with Ashton Jeanty. Dude, I'm telling you, the highest graded running back in all of college football last year. Practically an All-American by everybody. 1st in yards per scrimmage, 3rd in all-purpose yards, and 5th in total touchdowns in all the country. This dude alone will allow you to just tear up the Mountain West and get into that playoff spot in the game. Not to mention, you have Malachi Nelson coming in, who will probably be the starting quarterback, and Chris Marshall, former number 1 wide receiver in the country that's transferred in. You are talking about a high-octane offense with Boise State just flying around the field. You got options everywhere. You can take over the group of 5, no problem. Hell, move them into the Big 12, Pac-12, well, shit, never mind, RP Pac-12, SEC, whatever. Boise State, group of 5 choice, easily.